Okay. All right, Cameron, take it away.
So we're live.
Yeah, we're live.
Okay, so welcome everyone to today's session on accessibility and how we're going to talk about accessibility can create possibilities. And so today we're going to do a slide, and I have to give a massive shout to Ashley Adams, who knows Miss Adams, and Deloris Payne, who knows Miss Payne, and Miss Adams. Ashley Adams is my teacher, and Deloris Payne is my a paraprofessional, I think, whatever you wish to call it. But I have to give a massive shout to them because they were the ones that helped me. Shout to Ashley, since she's my teacher, has helped me, and so I want to give a massive shout out to them. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you.
Cameron is a true star. He did walk in this morning and
Yes.
he said, so since I'm your peer today and your coworker, you'll be Ashley and you'll be Deloris. And so we said, all right, let's do it.
Yep.
So Cameron is the true star of the day and
Yep.
of a lot of days. He is a bright, bright, bright light in our life. We don't know really what we would do without Cameron. I have told him I may have to fail him next year, so he has to
Yes.
stay here with us.
Yes.
So this all came about, Cameron, he wonders a lot, he thinks a lot, he's always trying to fix things. And so as we were talking about this just over the last 2 years, I think we were actually in front of Miss Clody and she said, what about presenting at the Mount Vernon Conference? And,
Yeah, I remember talking about that.
In this
Cameron,
meeting, when we heard
Yes.
what his career aspirations were.
yes, and being an accessibility coordinator is something Cameron would like to look into. And so at the first we're like, present, and then over time it's just become something that he's
Yep.
dove into and really has taught us so much.
So give a shout to Miss Clody.
Yes, that's right.
To Miss Clody for helping us and for I think leading the special.
She is our special ed coordinator.
Special ed coordinator. So give a massive shout out to Miss Clody.
Thank you for coming today.
Yep.
All right, so we'll get started. As you said, I'm Ashley Adams.
And I'm Deloris Payne.
And we are here talking about accessibility creates possibilities. This is a slideshow Cameron has worked on for several months. He's given up his lunch.
Yep.
And we have some simple information, and then we'll get into some bigger things. So what is a visual impairment? An impairment in vision that was even with correction still affects a child's educational performance and their overall experience, and can occur when there's an eye condition that affects the visual system. There are types of blindness that we've talked about: partial blindness, complete blindness, and legal blindness. Cameron, would you like to share about yourself?
I have low vision, and I also, they said that I was legally blind, like 8% legally blind in my left eye. However, I don't believe that. I won't lie, I don't believe that. I think that is a bit off. But I do have low vision in my left eye that can be corrected, I believe, with glasses, if I'm correct.
So Cameron, he's willing to share his disability,
Yes.
have conversations with others, which has really empowered him and which has also led to this. So we have the effects of having a visual impairment, some things, not all things, but Cameron's talked about being unable to see certain objects, difficulty reading, hesitant to participate in activities. You want to share about that a little bit?
Yes, I've sometimes been hesitant to do things or to maybe even speak, depending on what it is, because I'm like, it'd be a bit off since I do have like a disability, and since I do have to use devices and all that, and have things done a certain way for me.
Yeah,
So.
it feels a little uncomfortable.
Yes, yes.
And one thing that Cameron's really talked about, and he taught Miss Payne and I a lot about, was being touched or patted feels uncomfortable. And
Yes.
this was a tough one for me because I am really lovey,
Yes.
and I'm a hugger, and I'm a patter, and so with Cameron we just work it out. I'll say, before I'm gonna pat Cameron, Cameron, I'm so proud of you, can I pat you on the shoulder? He's like, oh, of course, Miss Adams, so I'll give him a pat.
It's not that you can't do that, just make sure this dudes know, and make sure you let them know so you don't accidentally scare them, or so they just know who's doing it.
Right, in some other settings around the school, we also have very, very kind people that just want to come up and they want to
Yes.
meet Cameron and they want to pat him. He
Yes.
doesn't know who they are or that they're coming at him, and when they put their
Yeah.
hand on him, it's very uncomfortable for him.
Yeah.
And so just teaching people those things about all people, really. We have navigating around the room and around the area.
Yeah.
Cameron talks about parking lots. You want to talk about that for just a
Yes, because like on some parking lots, they're not it's not high contrast enough, so I don't know if there's an edge or not. I remember once I was walking outside of Walmart, the back part of Walmart where there's like stuff. I walked out there once and accidentally fell and hit, I think it was right here, I believe, in a bruise there because I didn't know where it was and I fell, and that was a while ago. But that, if I would known it was there, I would make sure I could have stepped down and all that. But
So
I didn't know where it was.
prepare Cameron to give him a little notification. In our room, we keep our aisles clear.
Yep.
I know some teachers get tired of the way their room looks or is set up, and in our room, we keep it like this. And we have clear aisles that Cameron knows how to get to where he needs to be.
Yep.
And if we are gonna make a change, Cameron is with us in that situation, and he helps us to know this can work here, this can't work here, so he gets to share with us what is comfortable and what works best. We also, reading cues are difficult, so detailed verbal cues are best. Alrighty, so accommodations that Cameron has taught us that works best for him. We have using strong contrast backgrounds. Would you like to talk about that, Cameron? Like the
Yeah, it's like
presentation here.
contrast, this presentation was high contrast, and it's also large print, so I can see it very well.
We use large text fonts that are basic and also color coding. I might share with Cameron this, you ladies would know this, they're teachers at Salem. There was a teacher that taught me there a long time ago. We couldn't figure out why the student could read all the letters like this, but then in the book, they couldn't make out this word. And I'm like, it's the word, it's cat, it's still cat. And we talked about how fonts really, really matter and
Yes.
how,
Yes,
and
it
so
does.
this was just throwing everything off. And so with Cameron, the crazier the font, things like that, just make it more difficult.
Does he like just plain,
Yes.
Basic fonts.
basic font?
And can you make them like whenever you do fonts, like make them more like thicker, like make the font itself thicker, so it's much easier to like pick up.
Bold, yeah.
So when you're doing presentations for your students, or you're doing worksheets or things like that, being aware of those things
Yes,
gives him a level playing field with everyone else.
yes.
You have trouble with color. Does color bother you, Cameron? Do you see all colors?
I see all colors.
Awesome.
I see
And
all
color
colors.
helps him to navigate things.
Yes.
Awesome.
Right.
Yep.
So reading aloud, assigning assignments electronically helps for Cameron. Reading aloud and scribing.
Yep.
We like to do a lot of readers' theaters in this room, and
Yes,
so
we
we
do.
just prep Cameron ahead of time. We either give him lines to memorize ahead of time, or he is our scene director when he directs when scenes are over, or he talks about our sound effects in the room. Whatever works for him to be involved in that task is what we do with our readers' theater. So we don't want to just not do those activities. We want
Right.
to figure out how it can work.
Right.
Modify assignments extra time, preferential seating, and Cameron says be flexible.
Yes, be flexible because you may have one class where you go to where it may be a bit different, or maybe one year you do it this way, another year you do it differently, or one day is this way and maybe another day it's a different way.
We like to do what makes sense, don't
Yes.
we, Cameron? We like to do what makes sense.
Yep.
We keep the noise level low at times when dictation is being used. I will tell you that this is unusual for the three of us in my room because we always have music playing in here.
Yes.
It's always soft instrumental music, but for today we didn't do that just because we have a lot going on. But it creates an environment here that's comfortable. We keep it low, and we keep it at sorry, Cameron. We keep it at a level. What, babe? Oh, he just turned his camera on.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was
That's
like,
okay.
what
Sorry.
noise was
Yeah.
on the camera? I was like,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
the camera?
Oh, I know what
It's
you
okay.
were. I think you were nervous that possibly our video camera was going on.
Yes. So I was like, I don't want to lose the footage.
Yeah,
Sorry
we're not
about
losing
that.
the
It's
video.
okay.
No
It's alright.
problem.
I just pick up on things.
No
like
problem. And
Wow.
so we keep a noise level low in here because Cameron will dictate things using his
Yes.
device. Now, if it's too low, he finds it uncomfortable.
that.
So we keep the
And
low
others
music on to soften the area, and so he can dictate. And a lot of people, it's not just hearing Cameron's voice. And Cameron's taught others to dictate as well in here. But if we're
Yes.
loud and crazy, then we can't really use your dictation.
Yes.
We use closed caption on everything. I told my husband
Yes.
was in here earlier. He hates closed caption. And I said, too bad. We use it on everything. My house too. This my son's and I like it. And we use verbal responses where needed, and we have a plan for missed assignments.
Yes.
So if he's going to be absent, we have a plan for that. What does that look like? Is he making everything up? He's not taking it home. He doesn't have all of these tools. So what
Right.
works for Cameron and students with Cameron's disability?
Yep.
Whatever works best. Okay, here we go. Classroom setup for visually impaired students. Like I said, we make seating changes after talking to Cameron. He was in here this week. We got a new student.
Yes.
And so we were talking about what would make more sense, where should we put the students, and how will this work for your moving around the room. Now he'll learn a path around the room,
Yes.
but we like to keep it where he's aware of that. So Cameron, also we have low lighting. You want to tell about the lighting?
Well, like right now, like I can see very well even in this lighting. Like you don't want your lighting always like so bright. You know what I mean? Because it might make it hard, but you don't want it off unless if you're doing something or unless you're watching a movie or something like that. So this would be like the perfect lighting because it's not too dark, but it's not too bright.
And who's in charge of the lighting in our room?
I am.
Yes.
I leave the lights in.
Yes, Cameron's in charge of the lighting in our room. And not only does he go adjust the light himself, but he'll also ask the other students, hey,
Yes.
can you turn off one light? So-and-so, can you turn off one light? So we let him be in charge
Yes,
of
and
that
I
in our
also
classroom.
ask students sometimes if they need me to fix something for like the lights, if they need me to change it, if that helps them, or
He's very aware of those things. He'll say, I need the light like this, but I could probably go a little bit higher. Would that work for you? So he's very understanding of those things. He also taught us to keep all the supplies accessible and don't
Yes.
move them. Keep them where they
Yes.
are. Your tissues are here, keep them here. If your pencils are here, keep them here. Don't come in because I get bored and I want to change my room around. No, keep them there so he knows where they are. And it's not just another thing he needs to ask. That's just a routine thing for him.
Yes.
All right. So Cameron has been working, like I said, he's given up his lunch for the last month and a half. And he has come up with a tutorial about using his Chromebook and the accessibility features that he uses the most and how those work and how they help him. So let's do that. Okay, Cameron, let's begin with you telling us about your keyboard.
So my keyboard is a high contrast keyboard. It also has braille on it so I can see it very well or I can feel it, which helps me due to the fact that I have low vision.
Can you show us how to use your magnifier?
To do that, you hold down Control Search M on your keyboard, and then it should turn on magnifier so you can have it zoom in and stuff.
So Cameron, how do you locate accessibility features on your Chromebook?
You go up here to the top, you can click on Settings, and then go over here to the far right, and there's this column, and you go down to almost the bottom, almost the entire bottom, and then you click on accessibility, and then you go up here to the top, and there's an option that says Show Accessibility Option in Quick Settings. And you can turn it on. In this case, it's already been disabled because that's been done by admin, a Chromebook admin.
Great, thanks. So you can go to accessibility by settings,
Yes.
accessibility, and then also once you get there, you can have a quick access.
Yes, now
Which
they'll
shows
show
up.
up in your quick settings.
Okay, great, thank you.
Can you show us the enlarged cursor?
Do that. We're gonna go. So we go here, go to
Cursor. and touch pad.
cursor and touch pad, and we can turn on a large cursor, which can help certain people, and you can also make it smaller or larger, and you can also change the color and all that, and it should just help make your cursor easier to see if that helps you.
Great, thank you. Can you show us pinch to zoom?
To do that, I'm gonna turn off my magnifier, and then I could pinch out since I'm using a touchscreen, and that brings my it makes it larger, or I could pinch in, and that brings me back out to a normal size. Yes, and you can do that also on your trackpad too. You can do that same gesture in case you don't have a touchscreen Chromebook or you don't want to do it on a touchscreen.
Great.
Can you talk about dark mode and high contrast?
Dark mode is something you can go into your quick settings here, and you can turn that on. That can make things darker, or you can go up to display and magnification, and you can turn on invert colors here, which inverts all colors. It changes colors around and stuff, and just inverts them. So you can do that as well.
Makes it able to see better, Cameron?
It depends. It depends on the person and personal preference.
Okay, thank you. So Cameron, you've talked to me about two different options for text being read aloud. You've talked about Chromebox and Select to Speak. Can you share those with us?
Yes. So we click on text. Is it text to speech?
Yes.
Yeah. So we click on text to speech, and we can turn on an option called Select to Speak. And you can take you can use your mouse or trackpad, or you can use your touchscreen. There's a little box on there. We'll take a sound icon. You take this cursor here, you drag over text, and it starts reading. And it will start reading anything you highlight. It should start reading.
Great, and now Chromebox?
Chromebox is an actual screen reader. It's meant for people with very low vision or complete blindness. So you do that, we hold Control-Alt-Z, and that turns on Chromebox. And that starts reading. You can do same command on the keyboard and it should turn off too, or go into text speech and you can turn off there too.
So Cameron, Chromebox reads everything on
Yes.
the screen. So
Yes.
if you have Chromebox on, it would actually read even on a web search like HTTP
Yes.
and those things.
Oh yeah. it'll
Whereas
read
Select to
that.
Speak only reads what you choose.
Yep, and Select to Speak is good for people who have a hard time reading or who have dyslexia or anything like that. It'll help them as well.
Great, thank you, Cameron.
Can you show us a couple shortcuts on the keyboard that you use often?
Yes, so there's a keyboard shortcut called Control W. And when you hit that, it can close stuff or it can close a tab. And you can also hold down Control. You can hold down Control and T, and that will open up a new tab in Chrome. That's a good way to be able to get quick access to Chrome if you want to open up a new Chrome window or new tab in Chrome.
Is there anything else, Cameron, that you would like to share on this tutorial?
Yes, so I'm gonna go to Google Docs. Okay, there we go. We're in Docs, and now I'm gonna open up this document here that I already have open. And I can hold down search and then find the hello there, period. And that's dictation, so you can dictate to your device.
So you have dictation in
Yes.
the Google family.
Yes.
So you can do, you said search D, and then is there another way that you can get to dictation
Yes.
in the Google family?
This version of dictation that is available is called voice typing. You can go down here and you can turn on, it's called voice typing. And that brings up an icon that will allow you to dictate. I'm pretty sure that other Google apps like Slides and Sheets and all that should have it too, however I don't
We
really
did
know.
check one day and we looked at Google Slides.
It does
also.
have it, but I don't know about Sheets or anything else like that,
Right,
so
okay.
I don't know. So it may not work.
Thank you for sharing those Google family things.
You're welcome.
Okay, so Cameron, I just wanted to thank you so much for coming here today and sharing all this
Yes.
with us.
You're very welcome.
And we appreciate your knowledge and your willingness to share with us. Any final words from you, Cameron?
I want to do this because I want to help people who have low vision or who have a disability, and even those who don't have a disability, I still wish to help them because I understand not being able to use a Chromebook like everyone else, depending on what you're trying to do or what assignment you're trying to do or whatever else you're trying to do. It may be hard to use a Chromebook, and so I hope this does help you.
So what would you say our slogan is, Cameron?
Accessibility creates possibilities.
Great, thank you. Okay, so Cameron's been working on that. He also wants to give a shout out to, we went to Mr. Golson in the AV department and I literally just asked him, how can I record Cameron on my phone? And he said, no, that's not gonna be good enough. And I think, Cameron, you said we're gonna take this from a kindergarten presentation.
To a 12th grade presentation.
Right. And I said, right, because my abilities were about kindergarten level with that. So we went downstairs, we have a lot of people in Mount Vernon High School that are always willing to help, and the AV department
Yes.
did this for us. So we had Savannah and Bennett and Mr. Golson, and Cameron was adamant that we thank them
Yes,
and wanted their information on our video.
yes.
Okay.
Shout out to him.
He likes to give credit where credit is due. It's one of my
Yes.
favorite things about him. Okay, so next we have just a quick rundown of these were the accessibility features. I want to go in front of you.
Okay, go
The
ahead.
accessibility features that Cameron talked about. I will tell you that we also have a printout of them. So I showed Cameron the other day, I said, hey, I have all of our tips and tools. And he said, Mrs. Adams, it needs to be in high contrast if we're doing
Yes.
a presentation about
Yes.
accessibility. And I said, you're right. So you also have a high contrast version of that to take home with you.
Yes.
And like we've said, a lot of our students use these accessibility features, not just our students with low vision. So we talked about his high contrast keyboard and braille. We'll talk a little more about that. Hit magnifier, quick access, enlarged cursor, pinch to zoom, dark mode, text being read aloud, dictation shortcuts, other shortcuts, and then things in the Google family. So this is one of the things that we talked to Cameron about before we were going to have a presentation, just about being vulnerable and how vulnerable are you willing to be, and is that comfortable for you? And Cameron has just embraced all of this, and he really has a desire to share. So
Yes.
how does a visual impairment affect emotion? So I'll read the list, Cameron, and then you can talk.
Okay.
All right? So can cause feelings of social isolation, some worry about future jobs or education, anger, anxiety about even going to school, fear, depression, could have difficulty forming relationships, being worried like others think, what others think, and unwanted attention. You want to talk about any of those?
Yes, I understand feeling like unwanted attention, like you feel like people are looking at you and they're talking about you, and even some people may be acting a bit weird around you because of your disability or because you do things differently than they do. So I absolutely understand that, and I hope you know that I've been through a lot too. I've had situations where I fell off with people.
So what Cameron has noticed is the more that we share those things and talk about those things, it
Yes.
actually empowers us, and the more he has talked about those things, other people will relate their disabilities to him, and it's actually he's been able to help other people.
Yes.
We have, so how does an visual impairment impact communication? So these are things that Cameron has talked about, and that's just our camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay.
We
Go
are,
ahead.
these are things Cameron has talked about that helps him, that helps his day go better, and helps his school experience go better. So
Yep.
speak first to someone with low vision or blindness.
Yes.
Introduce yourself. If you're gonna walk up to Cameron or someone that has a disability like Cameron, say, Cameron, this is Miss Adams, and speak
Yes.
first so they know you're coming. Don't just start talking. Sometimes I get a little excited, and I can do that to people, and so I have to bring it down a little, don't I, Cameron?
Yeah, so it's okay, we all do it. We all do it.
Describe situations in detail and be very specific. Make sure individuals are aware you're speaking to him or her. If you're just talking to the class, I'll say Cameron, and then well, a lot of times we're doing an assignment, and I'll get ready to say, I think yesterday we were going to type that paragraph, and I said, Cameron, you can tell me verbally, and then I went on and gave instructions to the rest of the class. So make sure you know that they're speaking to you.
Right.
No gestures, always use words. You want to talk about that, Ms. Payne?
When I first got with Cameron, I would use gestures all the time. I would catch myself like, it's over there somewhere. And I was like, wait, I can't do that. He doesn't know what I'm talking about.
Or look right here, and we're like, okay, wait, we had to, think. You'd be very intentional.
Right.
And Cameron helps us with that. I'll say, Cameron, what would be the best way to do that? He's always really willing to help us.
Mhm.
Offer to help, but a big one with Cameron is don't assume that help is needed.
Right.
Cameron has low vision, but he is not incapable. Right, Cam?
Yes, absolutely.
He is willing and able and loves to do things on his own. And independence is huge for anybody, and definitely for teenage boys. And independence is important, so we encourage that all the time. We also work in groups, and so we assign tasks ahead of time. We assign tasks based on kids' talents, what their abilities are. Cameron gets certain tasks, others get certain tasks. We don't shy away from group work, we just make sure we're very specific about what we do with group work. And then one of the ones, Cameron, we talk about is make sure you announce when the conversation's
Yes.
over, right?
Yes.
So if we're just walking off, I don't have to say, we talk about this sounding robotic. I don't say, Cameron, I'm now done speaking to you.
No,
We-
we don't do
We
that.
teach our other students to say, hey, Cam, great talking to you, or
Yes,
something like that.
yes.
So we know the conversation is over.
That'll help people with blindness or low vision. It just depends. They may need to know the conversation's over depending. Who it is.
Yes, you're right. A big one that Cameron has said, these things don't say to people. Don't say
Yes.
to me, don't say to other people. So Cam, you jump in, all right?
All right.
So what not to say? I cannot imagine your life.
Definitely, I agree with that one.
We've already said it's over there. We've talked about the pointing. You don't look blind.
I have low vision, but I know I don't.
And you also said, when people say, well, you don't look like you have,
Autism or ADHD or anything else like that.
Right.
I do have autism.
we talk about all those disabilities, but you don't look like you have autism. You don't look like you have ADHD. It's like, really? Well, tell me what that looks like.
Yeah.
And so you just don't say those things to people.
Yes, you don't.
And Cameron, he's not a victim, and he does not like attention seeking. We are not feeling sorry for you. We don't say, I feel sorry for you. Cameron doesn't. He doesn't want to be felt sorry for.
Yes.
If you say about one of his devices or something, a tool, like, you don't need that. Well, yes, I do. That's
Yeah,
why I'm
I do.
using it.
Yes,
Don't
I need
ignore.
help.
Right. Don't ignore someone with low vision, and don't laugh if something happens. Sometimes things happen, right, Cameron?
Right, it happens.
How many times have I tripped up here?
A lot.
Yes,
And
a lot of times.
I've almost tripped too before.
Yes.
So
We
yeah.
have a lot of students that, even though we would never bring our cell phone to school uncharged, but
Right.
crazy enough, we bring our Chromebooks to school uncharged.
Yeah. And
So we do have a lot of devices that are plugged in across here. That's why
Yeah.
we keep our pathways open. But
Mhm.
we have to talk about, sometimes that just happens,
yeah,
right,
you
Cameron?
need to keep your wires
Yes.
over here if all possible, just so
Just in case.
people don't trip and all that.
So these are two things that Cameron has taught Ms. Payne and I. He is very passionate
Yep.
about these things. He was adamant that he was going to do a presentation on these things today.
Yes.
You want to talk a little bit about them and we'll watch your videos?
Yep, alt text. That's the thing that I think that we should start adding to more posts, like pictures in social media, and start adding more of, because I do like being on social media sometimes to like look at stuff, look at pictures and all that. But the problem is I don't know what it is sometimes, so.
And it would be, if I were to send Cameron a Google presentation, yes, his screen reader will read the words, but let's say we're talking about something in social studies, if I have the Declaration of Independence.
Yes.
The screen reader will not read that photo, but if there's alt text embedded in it, it'll say photo of Declaration of Independence.
Yes.
Which helps Cameron know what those images are on the site.
You know, help people with blindness or low vision depending on what it is, but also help others too.
Cameron does this in all of his Facebook posts and everything like that.
Yes, I have alt text on my pictures in Facebook.
You also talked just for a moment about audio description.
Yes, that one, it's like a narration track that whenever there are scenes where no one's talking or there's nothing like happening, it's just silence, they add in an audio track that helps describe what's going on and all that, like what they're doing, like what facial expressions the characters are making or anything else like that. And that one helps me because I can still see it, but I would appreciate having a bit of a narration guide to help me so it can just tell me if I missed something or if something's very important, I should be able to know what it is.
I think you've told me it fills in the gaps for you.
Yes! Yes, it does.
Okay, so Cameron, here's our 60-second video on alt text.
Yep.
Text in 60 seconds. Alt text is a written description of the images you post online. It helps everyone, including blind and low vision folks using screen readers, enjoy your visual content. On Facebook, use alt text by uploading an image through the website and clicking the edit photo icon in the corner of the thumbnail. Click the alt text icon on the left sidebar of the following window and write your description of the photo in the text field that appears, then click Save. For Twitter, make sure you first turn on alt text by checking the Compose Image Descriptions box in the Accessibility tab on your settings page. Afterwards, simply click the Add Description footer at the bottom of your image's thumbnail and include your description at the bottom of the following screen. Instagram just recently got on board the alt text train, and we're glad to hear it. When creating a new post, tap Advanced Settings at the bottom of the window. Next, tap Write Alt Text beneath the Accessibility header and write your alt text. In this case, birthday cake with a yellow background and a lit candle in the shape of a number 1. Accessibility is cool.
You agree with that, Cameron?
Yes, absolutely.
It's a big thing. Big thing for Cameron. Okay. We have also a quick video of audio description. I told Cameron I recently found about this on an airplane. I wanted to watch this movie and I didn't even really know what audio description meant. I clicked on it, and as the dialogue is happening, there was a narrator that was, and I thought, and I told him, for me, I was quite tired, so I actually closed my eyes and I could see the movie happening in my mind. So he said, yes, Miss Adams, that's how I live my life. I'd like to do that.
Yes.
So we have found out that Disney Plus offers this, Netflix offers this, all your big companies offer audio description on a lot of their shows and movies.
Yes.
So we'll do a quick little video of that.
Just watch a movie and close your eyes, and you can't follow most movies with just listening. Like, who's that? What's going on?
Police lights flash on the front of the buyer's house as Officer Callahan stands outside with Joyce and Jonathan.
Audio description is a description of the action that's going on in between the dialogue.
Inside the dark house, Hopper walks down the hallway with a flashlight.
For blind people, having that audio description, it becomes their eyes. I definitely say Orange is the New Black, Stranger Things and Game of Thrones have been my audio description highlights.
11 closes her eyes. Over in the lab, the man from the photo sits at a table with a piece of paper.
I can't see anything at all. So actually, I've never had audio description on live, as it were. So having it on TV is a great start.
I use it for watching TV programmes, for films at home, films in the cinema.
Theatre and cinema are my favourites.
I use audio description when I go to football matches.
A lot of those little subtleties in the way a person looks or something they do with their hands is actually a massive part of the story.
11 steps out wearing the dress and wig. Lucas gives Dustin an impressed look as Mike gawks at her.
If it's a gentle film, it'll have a gentler voice.
Tilting his head.
And in the action films, I have a harder edge description.
It drags dried growth and a piece of shepherd's suit across the floor, leaving behind a trail of blood.
all that tension, a lot of that is based in seeing what's happening and getting a sense of the atmosphere, and that's really brought to life as well by audio description. I don't watch anything without audio description.
I'm an absolute addict of audio description. I OD on AD.
Never mind.
Call me up.
I think that Cameron can agree with that.
Yes, I absolutely love audio description.
Well, sometimes, Cameron, you know what I did? It just signed me out. So sometimes things happen, right? We gotta be flexible.
Yep. Because that was not expected, right?
That was not expected.
Well,
No.
besides that,
Okay.
we can continue.
Cameron, I
So-
have a question.
Yes.
Is Chromebook box a website or what is that?
It's a screen reader. You can
Just a screen reader you
Yep.
have to add to your computer?
No, you don't have
Like
to hide it. It's
now?
already there. You
It's
can
on
just
there.
turn it on and
It's
settings.
always on.
It's on there.
Wow.
That's what we said.
Because my son has a touch screen and he doesn't even use it because he doesn't have that, he doesn't
Oh,
Oh.
great.
so,
Yes.
yeah.
So, like Cameron said, these can benefit many people, right? Cameron,
Yes.
accessibility can. Visually
Yes.
impaired people, people with reading deficits, auditory learners, people with dyslexia, all of those type of
Mhm.
everything people can benefit from this. I've told him I've always been an auditory learner, and so I'll put things on screen reader that I probably never would have before if I didn't watch Cameron doing it all the time. So it does make. What do you think about those things, Cameron?
Yes, and I think it would also help people with learning disabilities due to the fact that some of them might appreciate that depending on what it is.
I agree. Okay, so we have, so what devices does Cameron use that assist him? So
Yes.
Cameron, do you want to tell about an iPad situation?
Yes,
Sorry.
when I was in KC Middle School, I was given an iPad. It was nice that they gave me an iPad, but I was like, how do I use this thing? Thank you, but I don't know how to use this iPad. It was not accessible for me, so.
And Cameron, he's the same thing like Miss Sonia was just talking about. We gave Cameron a touchscreen Chromebook.
Yeah.
And we didn't teach him how to use it.
Mhm.
And so, here you go. You've got something that nobody else has. It's large, it's touchscreen.
Right.
Go for it, buddy. And he was like, okay, how do I use this? What if it would do this? This is
Right.
what would help me. What if there's a setting for this? And through a lot of time of this
Right.
Payne and Cameron, he would say, I wonder if, and she'd say, oh, maybe.
He's like,
So-
let me just search on it.
A lot
Yeah.
of searching and Googling, and he'd come in the next day, and that's how this all came about.
Yes.
Cameron was talking about all of these things that were like, what even is out there? Like you were just saying,
Yes.
your son has this device. What's out there that we don't even know about?
Right.
So one lesson is, if we're gonna give a student a device, let's make sure they can use it.
Yes.
So some things that Cameron uses is a CCTV. Ms. Payne, would you like to talk about that?
So this is a CCTV. It's got the zoom features that he can use to enlarge the image to do the problems. For example, this is math.
Yep.
It's also got where it changes colors,
Yes. Contrast and all that.
the color contrast. And then the functions change also. You can fade them out as much as he needs them, or as much as you need them, as dark as you need them to be.
So this device, Cameron, he sits in one of our seats out here, and so this just stays on his desk,
Yes.
and he uses it as he needs it. Not only does it magnify and light up things here, in the back there is his light.
Pull it up.
He can pull that up. He shines it on the Chromeboard. It's Chromebook, excuse me, my goodness. He can go to our posters. He can go to our clock. He uses that for all around the room to assist him.
Yes.
Cameron, what else do you use over there in your
I
trick
use
tools?
this as a magnifier. I've had it for about a decade or so. I don't know, but this is a handheld lighted magnifier that I use. I remember being given it a while ago, and I use sometimes a pair of sunglasses. I use a pair of sunglasses sometimes because it helps my vision, and it helps just make it more.
Comfortable?
Yeah, it helps make it more comfortable so my eyes aren't completely blown out all the time. Just
Is that like if the screen is too bright or anything? Does it?
I could do that because
Sometimes he says his eyes get tired.
Yeah, I do have eye strain sometimes.
Do they have
So.
with your peripheral vision?
These are just regular
Yeah,
sunglasses.
I
Do you have
eventually.
trouble with peripheral?
Yes, but
Yeah.
no, but it's not
Okay.
bad. But I could understand eventually getting either set of these that have like Zoom or getting prescription ones. So that will be something hopefully.
Do you use blue light glasses any?
No, but I absolutely now since you bring that up, that's actually a smart idea right there. Definitely use something for blue light because that would help me.
We also can use those outside, and like I was saying,
Yes.
a lot of these tools where Cameron said sometimes he didn't want the unwanted attention, what we find is sometimes his tools catch on,
Yes.
and sometimes we allow that to happen, because I don't wanna be singled out because I'm wearing sunglasses,
Right.
so everybody else bring your sunglasses.
Right.
And we just work things like that, like we said, do what makes sense. What
Yep.
else do you have over there, buddy?
I have a monocular here. I can use this at like assemblies. It's like a zoom. It's kind of like a binocular, but just one, and you can zoom in and stuff. You can use this like at assemblies.
At our theater downstairs,
Yes.
our assemblies.
Yep. You can
And
use it.
he actually has two, and we were saying if you take that to an assembly, we might bring the extra, just in case somebody else wanted to use it as well.
Right. Yes.
Go ahead. He loves this device as well.
This is a talking timepiece, also known as a talking keychain watch. It's common, but I can also put this in. So you guys can hear the time, and I can set alarms on this and all that, and check date and all that on this. And this is a very useful tool, and I quite like it.
We also have, Cameron has a laptop stand that will bring the laptop closer to him. And there's a microphone in his Chromebook that you would notice in the video when he's leaning down. It makes it a little more comfortable for him.
Yes.
And also for dictation, he uses
His headphones,
With
which
a
plug
microphone.
in to his Chromebook,
You just prefer not to use a
and
cane
then he has
for
his.
the attention?
Yes, but I would, but also yes, but also no. If I was, let's say, wanting to go down like a sidewalk here in Mount Vernon, I'd probably want to use a cane because our sidewalks kind of big.
They're
So-
awful.
Yes, I would use a
So
cane in that
hazardous.
circumstance.
Why they put those curbs on?
Oh,
Yeah,
gosh, people that can see trip over and
Yeah.
unknown
Skin their
settings.
Yeah, I know.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
And one
know.
thing we've talked about, we'll get to the emotional part,
Yes.
emotion in a minute. But one thing we've talked about with Cameron, as you mature and get older, those things they become less embarrassing and more of a tool. And
Yes.
so he's embraced that as he's gotten older.
Yes.
I'm so proud of him for that.
Mhm.
On his headphones, sometimes he gets tired of dictating here, and so he has a microphone built in.
Yes.
And like we say, we let it go both ways, whichever one. Now this has kind of been life changing for him, he said.
Yes.
So here's your Chromebook.
Yep, and these are high contrast stickers, and these have braille on them too, so I can feel my way around it, or I could get a good view of it because it helps, and that's been one of the biggest life changers on that Chromebook since I've gotten it, since I've had select sleep and all that.
I told him, even
There's
for
some-
my old eyes, the high contrast has helped. I think I want a set of stickers too.
Yeah.
But it's made him able to get to things quicker. He is able to use this Chromebook in a lot more ways. Where before, you used it all the time, but you said, this has been life changing for me.
That's X, that's C, and that, I think that's B right here.
Mhm, it is.
Yep, and that's B, so yeah, I can feel my way around it.
So those are the
My
devices that we have and that Cameron has suggested, maybe we can find something to do this. So that's how those have all come
Yes.
about. The last thing we have is, Cameron, we have been talking about, in our room, we really like to do things together. We like to
Yes.
include everyone. And so we have been playing a lot of Braille Uno.
Yes,
Who knew, right, buddy?
yes,
So we like to play Uno in our room.
yes.
Here's a card.
But now we got,
You
we
can
got
find
braille.
out what card that is.
This, I think, is blue.
Is it upside down?
On, it's a G. It's a G.
I think it's upside down.
Yeah, so it's a blue
There you
seven.
go.
It's a bit,
I
it's a
gave it
bit
to
hard
him upside down.
sometimes, but if any of you guys want to feel the card or.
So, my husband, I told Cameron, I'm so glad that he got to be my husband this morning because nobody in the world hears more about Cameron than my husband.
Yes.
And so he messaged me one day at school and he's like, I just found Braille Uno cards on Amazon. You gotta buy these. And I said, well, I don't know. I don't really want to say the B word because
Yes.
Cameron hasn't always loved Braille. And
Yes.
so, you want to talk a little bit about that, buddy?
Whenever I was in vision, they took me out and they taught me Braille, and it was boring, and they also did it in such a way where it wasn't efficient and it wasn't fun, honestly. And I think having Braille games like this and all that would have helped, and that's the reason why I didn't want to deal with Braille, is because I was like, you guys forced me to do it, and forced me to do it in a way that wasn't fun and all that, so that's the reason why I stopped doing it for a while. And since now we got Braille Uno cards and got all that, I've honestly started doing it more, using those.
Cameron has made us kind of think about how we do things and how we present things. And I told him my example was I used to teach junior high language arts, and teaching parts of speech in isolation is so boring. And so I would think to myself sometimes, I know why they hate it, I hate this too. And so how we teach things matters, and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And so Cameron, when we brought in, I said, now, I was nervous about Braille. I was nervous about even bringing this up to him. So I said, hey, my husband found, I'm going to blame it on Marty. My husband found these cards, I don't really think you would want them. And he said, oh no, please bring them. So we all sit around my desk, we put out the Braille board, and Cameron has been teaching his classmates Braille.
Yes.
And he told me the next day, he said, Miss Adams, I bet you learned more Braille yesterday than you've learned in your entire life. And I said, I actually did. I was in my mind doing the number sign in Braille, feeling it in my mind that night.
Yes.
And so we put the board out in the middle, we all play Braille Uno together, and Cameron's able to participate without holding the card up so close, and he's able to participate in the game in a way that makes it more fun for you.
Yep.
Right? So we also have playing cards with Braille that we use. They're just regular playing cards that have Braille on them.
Yep.
And then we have, you want to talk about our other cards, Cameron?
We got a set of large print playing cards that we can use too, so we can play regular cards.
Yes. Large print, and then each suit has a color, so we're able to play card games as well as that. And we could go into adaptive games and adaptive PE and do an entire session about that. But some things that we use that make the experience better for all. Cameron, you want to talk about our beach ball there?
Yeah, we play beach volleyball. We have a beach ball that we use for volleyball, and that helps make it so we can see it. Like I can see it better, and it gives me enough time to get over there and hit it up and keep it up there. And we also, other students will have playing it too, since it's more funner, since everyone can get involved and now we can all see it, so.
And so Cameron said to me one day, do you notice, Miss Adams, everybody is getting involved? And I said, yeah, people that never want to participate in PE. And then he said, it really shouldn't be about winning, right? Not in this setting. We're not playing to win. We're not playing to win in adaptive PE or in regular PE. We're playing to have fun, right?
Yes.
And so we bring in things like this, and everybody gets involved, and Cameron is able to give us things that make our whole experience better. We also have, we've talked about these when we're going to play badminton. I think that unit's actually coming up. We have high contrast large birdies, anything like that. And like I said again, things like this catch on. Kids aren't shying away from them. They're like, well, can I use those too? And Cameron hears that a lot. So in PE, they'll say, we don't want the real volleyball anymore. Only give us the beach volleyball.
Right.
And that works. That works for us. We have, Cameron, any last comments about this? I will tell you that when we were talking earlier, Cameron said, earlier when we were doing this presentation, he said, this has been like a dream for me. And I will tell you, Miss Holloway, Cameron, I'm going to put her on the spot for a second. Cameron's stepdad, Zach, is here with us today. 2 years ago, Cameron we wouldn't have said this because we believe in Cameron. Cameron would have said this was impossible. So what do you think is happening, Cameron?
I think that things have changed a lot, and I would never thought that I would have been doing this 2 years ago, or even when I came here from 8th grade also, I would never thought that I would be doing this. But I decided to open up about my disability and decide that I would be an ambassador from my friends and myself who have a disability, and I decided that I'd be an ambassador and talk about our disabilities, talk about how we can change things and how we can make things better for us who have a disability, so we can make things better for us.
Thank you, Cameron. He's really owned it, and he has matured, and one day he even said, I probably could have been a little nicer to them about Braille. And he's just real self-reflective now, and I think that he has decided that this is me, and I'm going to share it and find ways to help others. So he really wanted a question and answer session. Anybody have any questions or anything?
Yes. Yeah, anyone got Q&A?
Oh, no, you're fine.
It's okay.
We wanted that too.
Yeah, we want that too, so it's good.
We had a lot of information. We had to really bring this down. Like I said, Cameron's spent a month and a half in here, so there are some things he's really passionate about, which is all text, audio description.
Yes.
In our classroom, he'll say to someone, I know we're going to watch this movie, I hope it doesn't annoy you. Well, we just talk about those things. But he'll say, I can see it better. I can see it in my mind better.
Yes.
So just being open about those things has really helped him.
Yes, and I hope some of it can help you if you wish to use it. Use it. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But I also want to do this just to bring some light on what it's like having a disability and how maybe we could do a better job at helping people with disabilities. How we can make social media better for our images for people who have a disability, like people who are blind who want to know what that image is, but they can't because there's no alt text on it. And how we could maybe do better, I don't know.
Yeah, we know better, we do better, right, Cameron?
Yep. And how maybe we can help some of our friends also that are not even here that have other forms of disabilities, because I think they deserve just as much mention as I do.
I think Miss Cody has a question.
Yeah, Cameron, this is Mrs. Cody. I have a couple things. First off,
Yes.
I was wondering if you would maybe be willing to do the same type of presentation with specific teachers of students who have visual impairments or low vision, to do this presentation for those particular teachers, targeted just for them. Would you be willing to do that?
Yes, I'll absolutely be honored to do that, and I will do it.
Okay, I also know that we have some other students here with those conditions who maybe not have embraced things
Yes.
as well as you have. Would you be willing to kind of partner with them and mentor them, and like the group of you guys could like work together and teaching each other the various strategies and accessibility features that you've been able to find?
Yes, it would be a great honor, and I will do it.
Okay, and my last one, this is a big one,
Yes,
so if you need to think about it, I understand.
that's okay.
I need to offer you a job.
Oh,
Okay, you wanna hear about it? Okay.
Yes, go right ahead.
Alright, so you know we have our Special Olympics and Unified Champion
Yes.
Schools Facebook page
Yes.
and group, and we've been doing a disservice because we want to be able to have our message reach everyone, and we haven't been reaching anyone, and I'm ashamed of that. So I want to hire you to do something for all of our photos on Facebook for our page. What do you think I'm gonna ask you to do?
Adult text to it.
Absolutely, will you do
And
that
I'll
for
do
me?
it. And I'll do it.
Okay.
You know, I read. Because I want to reach more people. I want not just their school Facebook pages, but I want everything like that to be accessible, because I remember mainly being on Facebook, going through the school's Facebook pages and all that, and I'm like, oh, I don't think these images have alt text on them. Should we add some of that to it, just so we can make it more accessible? So, thank you, Miss Cody, and I'll absolutely do that to help the people
Yes.
and help
And
adult text.
you're gonna get paid for that because that's extra stuff, and you are worth that. Always know your value.
That's right.
And I'm like, I could do this for free. But
No.
hey, come on, pay me, that'd be good. I'll accept payment, but you don't have to.
Stop while you're ahead.
No, I'll do it.
Well, thank you for joining us, Cameron. Thank you so much for being willing and sharing your knowledge with us. And
Thank you guys. Thank you. But you should also give a massive shout out to Miss Cody too. She deserves a massive shout out too.
Cameron,
And
I
actually
have
happens in-
one other question.
Oh,
Sorry, I'm
yes.
sorry.
Go ahead, son.
My son needs help
Yes.
learning how to use his touchscreen. Would you be willing
Yes,
to help?
I'll help.
I may not pay as well as Miss Cody.
It's okay.
I'll be willing. I got Reese's. I'll bring you Reese's.
Okay, sure. That
But
works.
he's not offering his one job, he's getting two.
I'll help because I want to make sure people can access the web. You know what I mean? Like,
that does happen in our
He's a
classroom.
Yes.
lot older than you, and he doesn't even use his touchscreen.
and that's it's understandable, because I remember once being able to be like, oh man, I'm never gonna be able to access the web. I'm never gonna be able to access Wikipedia and any of this. And now I can go on a website and be like, oh, so I'm gonna go access Wikipedia now. Hold on, let me go look this up on
Do you
Wikipedia.
use your Chromebook more than your phone? My son always uses his phone.
I use my phone a lot. Too. I use a Chromebook.
Okay.
I don't know what it is.
Thank you so much.
My Brian has one, but his is.
His was massive.
Thank you.
That one's so
Thank you.
I enjoyed
Come
this.
along.
Thank you.
Yeah.
He is.
Yes.
Thank you, Cameron.
You're
You're
welcome.
welcome.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Cameron, these are some ladies that I know.
You're welcome.
What you taught me today,
Yes.
I wish I knew last year.
Right.
You taught me so much, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Cameron.
Right, and I appreciate it too, because I want to spread this knowledge.